Welcome to my channel. My name is Jasmine and this is Jasmine's Gems. I'm just a girl, not a guru. And today we're going to talk about, will my ex come back? We're going to talk about if your ex will come back, what to do when your ex comes back, and what it means when your ex comes back. So first and foremost, obviously everyone's situation is different. So this might not be a one-size-fits-all situation. But in my experience from, my personal relationships and friendships when those have ended, and what I've observed from other, especially women, for the most part, I will say if someone did you wrong and they know that they did you wrong and you were a good person with pure intentions, it is likely for your ex to come back. And again, this can look different for everyone, and this doesn't mean your ex will come back. In my personal experience, I've had ex-friends try to spin the block because they know, they betrayed me, and I don't know if it was a guilty conscience or what. And obviously I've had ex-partners spin the block. And this has happened like years later. It hasn't happened immediately. Like, it wasn't like, oh, we stopped being friends in March and then they came back in April. It was like months later or years later that people like to spin the block. Not sure why that is, and I will guarantee you it's not because they've grown. Like I said, if you were a good person with pure intentions in that relationship and the other person mistreated you or mishandled you, or maybe they just weren't ready for you, then that might be why they're spinning the block. And another reason might be because they think you're accessible. If they know that they can get you back because you have weak boundaries, or you're just their go-to person because you keep allowing them to do the same thing over and over again, they know you're easy access. You might also want to test the waters to see, where you're at. If you're someone like me, I'm someone who will block people, and I don't want anything to do with them. I'm not the ex that spins the block. I'm gonna block you. I'm gonna block you on all platforms. I blocked my ex on Duolingo. Like, I don't play. I don't want you to disturb my peace. And sometimes people just get curious because they don't have that access to you again. That's why some people create like burner accounts, fake pages, just so they can lurk to see what you're up to. Also because, like I said, they may have mishandled you, so they want to see like, oh, is she doing better? Is she thriving? Is she living her best life? Is she better off without me? Because subconsciously they know that they might have been holding you back. And like I said, each case is different. This is from my personal experience, because when I'm done with someone, I'm done with them. I don't need their external validation. I don't need them like unblocked so they can see me doing well in life. I don't want them in my orbit. I don't want them in my energy. But if you're someone who feeds off of that, then that might be a different reason why they're coming back. Like I said earlier, they might come back because they know you're accessible. They know that they can get whatever it is they want from you just by like maybe saying a few nice words, doing a few nice things, saying they're going to change, saying or doing what they think you want to hear or see for a short period of time, just so they can get what they want out of you and repeat the cycle. Rinse, recycle, repeat. However, if you are someone with strong boundaries, like I said, they might come back just because they're curious or other reasons like that. However, I don't see exes coming back as like a form of flattery. To be honest, I see it as them still stuck in that same emotionally immature spot, and then they're trying to see, like I said, if they have access to me again, and they don't. So that was something. It did take, I wouldn't say a lot for me to figure out. It took maybe a couple times to figure out, like, okay, this isn't the universe or God wanting us back together, back in each other's lives. For me, I've noticed that it's mainly to see, it's kind of like a checkpoint to see where you're at. So for example, actually I have a couple examples. So the first example is my first ex. So with my first relationship, I felt that there was like a lot of love there from both of us. We just weren't meant to be together. So when he came back into my life, we tried being friends, and then I quickly learned like we cannot be friends. This is not gonna work. Like I said, there was love there, but it's just not gonna work. One, because we dated, and two, I just started seeing the same things that I saw before when we were dating, and I didn't like that. I didn't like feeling kind of pulled back to the old me, because that's what it was. I had grown a lot from when me and him had broken up, and then when we tried being friends, it felt like I was just being tugged back to that old Jasmine. I didn't like that. Another example is this girl that I used to be friends with. She ended up betraying me, so that's why we stopped being friends. So again, she had come back trying to be friends again, and it wasn't really sitting right with my soul. And then I was just like, no, I can't do this. I can't trust you as a friend. And that's like one of the main things of friendship is trust and loyalty. And we didn't have either of those. So I was like, we're going to nip this in the bud really quick too. More recently, End of 2025. What a way to end 2025. So I saw my ex at the club on New Year's Eve, and this is what made me make this video. So I saw him and I felt absolutely nothing. And that was the best feeling in the world. I didn't feel mad. I didn't feel upset. I didn't feel sad. I didn't feel happy. I felt absolutely nothing. It was like looking at a stranger in a grocery store, and it was just like, oh, a person. And this really made me click and made me want to make this video, because I was like, this is the reason why exes come back. It's not because it's a sign. It's not because you guys are meant to be together. It's not because this is like some big romantic story or movie. It's mostly because I feel like God or the universe, whatever you want to believe in, I believe in God. For me, I feel like God was using that situation and all of the situations that I mentioned kind of like a karmic checkpoint. Like, did you pass this test officially? And for me, I did. So now I got really excited, because I'm like, now I'm going to move on to the next chapter, and I'm going to be living my best life, because I'm more aligned for what I want and what I deserve in life. So for me, that's why I personally think, like, when exes come back into your life, it's a test to see if you truly believe that what you desire is out there for you, and you're not going to go back to what's comfortable instead of settling and going back to what you know versus the unknown, essentially. Because I guarantee you, especially, I've noticed this a lot with women, and I'm speaking from, my experience as a woman. I'm not going to speak for the men, but in my experience, a lot of these guys don't change. There are guys that will change and will do better, but I feel like there's very select few. A lot of the guys, and like I said, this is just me as a woman. I don't date other women. So if you're a man, you can let me know in the comments what your experience is. I would love to know. But for me, a lot of men, they don't really change. They just find someone who's going to accept their behavior. And this can go for, vice versa as well. I'm not sure. But in my experience, I see it like a lot of women will kind of level up and glow up after like a breakup or something. And the man kind of just stays the same. And this goes beyond like physical things like, fitness, financial. I'm talking about like genuine inner work. I think a lot of people reach out a lot of times because of ego. They want to see, for instance, if their ex is kind of leveling up and they see that, and they want to see, okay, so now I know I'm down here and she's up here. I want to see if I can have access to her, if she still thinks she's down here on my level. And if she thinks she's down here on my level, then that means I think I'm up here on her level. I hope that made sense. But either way, I don't think you should take it as a compliment for exes reaching out. I don't think you should be holding on to hope that your ex will reach out, because even if they do, they're probably just going to create more drama and stress in your life in the long run. They're not going, like I said, more than likely they're not going to change. There's a reason that your relationship ended. I guarantee you your ex spinning the block isn't going to give you what you truly want and need in a relationship. So if they do spin the block, just use that as like a checkpoint of like where you are. Stop making this about them. Focus on you. Where are you in life? Where are you in your boundaries? Where have you leveled up mentally, spiritually, emotionally, even physically? It's not even about being better than them. It's just about being a better you. So if your ex does reach out, I want you, first of all, they should be blocked. They should be blocked, period. But if they're not blocked, block them. If they are blocked, block them again. And if they reach out again, block them again. Like, they don't deserve access to you. And them making burner accounts and different accounts to reach out to you, it's not flattery. It's not something that's worth celebrating. It's not, don't let it massage your ego. It's literally them just, it's a game to them. Because I guarantee you, once they have access to you and then they're like, okay, now I got her, they're going to do the same thing. They put in all that effort just to see if they can have access to you again. So just keep ignoring them, keep blocking them, move on with your life. Leave them in the past so you can focus on your future. Like I said, there's a reason you broke up. So use that reason and really streamline what it is you want. Really focus on what it is you want in a relationship, and your next relationship, and your future relationship, and life in general. And go after that. Stop worrying about these bums in the past. So stop holding out on if your ex will or won't come back, because honestly, just focus on the future. If they do come back, don't return to them. Get really clear on what it is you want and what you will never accept again. Have strict boundaries. Run a strict program, as the kids like to say. Move on with your life and just use that as like a checkpoint. Like, wow, I've definitely outgrown this situation because this person isn't even attractive to me anymore. Because that's how I am. When I saw my ex, I was like, even in the club, I was like, yeah, I don't think we were meant to be together, because you're not even my type anymore, and you seem really like corny to me, actually. I used kind of like that feeling of having the ick, and I was like, all right, that's progress, because I've outgrown him or the situation with him. But that's all I have for you about, you know, will your ex come back? And like I said, if you're a guy, please feel free to share your experience, because I know there are women who will spin the block. Trust me, I know. But I just want to hear your experience, because I just know my experience as a woman, and, you know, all my friends and other women that I see. So I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Just let me know. But like always, I'm just a girl, not a guru. Like, share, subscribe if you like my content. If not, oh well.